Great. Thank you very much, David. My presentation today is about automated future strategies for NinjaTrader. And in particular, we're featuring the ScalerBOT new version 5.1. It's being released tomorrow. And it's symptomatic of some of our other products. So we can do a deep dive on ScalerBOT, but you can also reflect on how it would apply to other of our automated strategies. Disclaimer, I'm not going to read every word, but as you know, futures trading and options trading have large potential rewards, but also large potential risks, etc. And if you do decide to invest real money, all trading decisions should be your own. You should carefully consider whether trading or active investing is suitable for you in light of your circumstances, etc. Quick bio on me. I have effectively had 4 careers from starting as a consultant, and then most of my time was spent in software marketing based in London, where I ran the UK or Europe or international for various NASDAQ companies. And then when I retired, I became to learn about active investing, started with equities, then moved on to options, and finally futures. And I'll explain why I think futures is the best place to spend your time for those of you who don't do it. Anyway, I've evolved into put everything in my career together so that my final career here is in fintech. Basically, I concentrate on futures day trading systems. I design them. Um, I have programmers I've curated around the world who do the development, and then I do the testing, marketing, sales, and support. And we have the programmers also doing support, but they're all based on NinjaTrader, which I'll explain in a minute. But the company's called TradePilot AI, tradepilotai.com. This is the web page, the home page, and the products can be explored at the second option up there on the menu, and the pricing, etc. So why day trade futures? Because I know not all of you who are watching today are futures traders. Um, this is my own personal opinion because this is how I basically went from stocks to options to futures. In this uh, train of thought, I found compared to equities, they're much more leveraged. You get much more immediate feedback, more profit per day potentially. On a second issue, there's favorable tax treatment. The real thing that I used to like was that you can go short and long um, just as easy. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell is just a click of a mouse. Short trading in equities, as you know, you have to borrow the stock. You have to have, there has to be enough shares to do that. There's certain rules, etc. But and additionally, there's thousands of stocks, but there are only really 5 or 10 key instruments for futures trading. The real thing is when you're dealing with equities is worrying about all the things that affect a company's EPS and dividends, etc. Um, and PE ratio, so you get growth rate, profit margins, cash flow, their market share, management strength. You're looking at all that across thousands of companies. That's a lot. Futures is very, very simple, I would argue. Compared to options, I mean, I did do options for a couple of years. It took a lot to learn, and my head still boggles, my mind boggles when I think about all the Greeks and all the complicated versions like put credit spreads and butterflies and iron condors. And, um, it's a minefield out there. And good luck to you if you can master it. And compared to forex, which I actually never did try because I was too worried about things I'd heard, um, some shifty players in the forex world, offshore companies, um, not regulated central exchanges in some cases. You don't always get to see a visible order book. You don't get true volume information. To me, it's just a minefield that I would avoid personally. Now, that's why I like futures. Now, why do I like automated? Well, compared to manual trading, you've got rules, and the rules affect the entry and exits. It's not discretionary. It's not based on your whims or your gut feeling. It's based on rules that either you've set up or we've set up for you. And if you don't like our rules, then don't use our bots. Or if you don't understand our rules, ask us. We'll tell you. Very open about it. Most of the rules can be seen right on the screen in terms of the actual visible entry levels and exit levels. Compared to, again, manual trading, automation can be very fast, very precise, especially compared to if you're looking at more than one instrument, scrolling around the different charts or monitors on your desk. The automated bot's doing it for you. Um, Algorithmic trading, algorithmic rules are built into the systems. So basically, you let the bot do the trouble, and you don't have to worry about getting too greedy or too fearful. And you certainly can monitor many trades at once, many instruments at once, because the computer almost has no limit to how much it can handle. I trade 50 charts every day simultaneously, or I don't, my bots do. I couldn't do that manually. And then it's hands-free, so you can, go to the kitchen for a sandwich. You can maybe walk away for an hour, come back. You can maybe play golf and come back. I don't recommend it, but I do have people who trade overnight and they wake up in the morning to see how their results did. So you get that extended trading time where you could literally have the bot working during the Asia Open or during the European Open or other times. Now, a lot of people use indicators, and I don't disagree about using indicators, but we use indicators too. They're built into the strategies, some of the more popular ones. Now, ATMs, for those of you who may not know what that means, that's an advanced trade management system or template from NinjaTrader. It's basically you can set up multiple targets and trailing stop conditions, etc. But and we do use ATMs in some of our bots, but compared to just pure ATMs, automation gets you a faster entry as opposed to a manual entry as well, algorithmic base. And you can scale in as well, which you can't scale in um, with an ATM. And ATMs make it difficult to backtest and optimize and things like that, walk forward testing even. But our bots are much more able to do that without using ATMs. And then the other benefit of automation is you don't have to be totally automated. You can use the bots to get you in automatically, and then you can manually get out, or you can manually get in and let the bots take you out. So there's real flexibility there. Now, why NinjaTrader? And why am I mentioning this? Because we only develop our systems on the NinjaTrader platform. It's one of the best and most popular trading platforms for automated strategies. Yes, Thinkorswim is a great platform. I used to use it for options, but it doesn't really allow automated strategies. Um, and there are many companies out there that offer trading with indicators, but not all, like TradingView, but not all automate the way NinjaTrader allows you to automate. Plus, it has a programming language built in called NinjaScript, which is very close to C#. And a lot of programmers around the world know how to use NinjaScript, C#. And I've curated from dozens some very skilled NinjaTrader programmers that work on behalf of TradePilot AI. We are also a approved ecosystem vendor for NinjaTrader, which takes a long time to get approved. I think about 6 months it took us to get approved, and it took about 6 months of trading to prove that we were in it for the long term. And then they invited us to present, and it's on YouTube at that link there, presentation we made late last year. In terms of our company's offerings, we have services and products, and I'm going to go on to the products, but that's my main focus today. But just quickly on the services, we have the Sunday Education Program, Futures Trading Club, the Bot Optimization Lab, and private consulting one-on-one. Futures Trading Club is mainly where I spend my time in terms of services, and it's a free trade room. We've been using Zoom for the last 2 years. As of tomorrow, we're going to be also simultaneously using YouTube Live. I did 3 of these last week as a test, and it seems that I've got it down now, so it's going to work fine. So it'll probably give you a choice of 2 ways to watch, but it's the same thing. We run all 10 bots on 5 instruments, so that's where I get my 50 charts from. I run across 2 laptops, and so I swap between the 2 laptops in terms of zooming in, zooming out of different trades, the ones that are active, the ones that are making money, the ones that are showcasing the way the bots are designed. We start at 9:15 with a short PowerPoint presentation, then go live at 9:30. And it's pretty much hands-free. I do a little tweaking here and there with if I see a target that looks too far away or I see a stop that looks too far away, I might tighten them. But for the most part, it's hands-free. And that meeting ID passcode has been not changed in 6 months, so it's good for the rest of this year. And our YouTube channel is very clearly marked TradePilot AI, and that's where the live will be starting tomorrow. So moving on to products, we have 9 showing here. We have a couple of indicators, but these are our 9 automated strategies. And we just added a 10th a couple of weeks ago, which is a pain because now I can't give you my 3x3 matrix anymore. Now I have to figure out how I'm going to present the 10th on the screen. So the good news is we're working on 2 more bots between now and the end of 2026. So we should have 12 by end of year, and then I'll have a nice 3x4 matrix or a 4x3 matrix. But the last one we've introduced is called VWAP-bot. It's based on bouncing off of the price bouncing off of VWAP, and I'll show you a screen of that in a minute. Now, just as an aside, again, for many of you who don't know futures trading or have been tempted to try it or have been hoodwinked by people selling black box systems, um, the market really is based on or breaks down into 2 groups: black box strategies and white box strategies, and try to explain that. Black box, meaning the logic, indicators, algorithms, rules, processes, whatever. It's a secret sauce and it's hidden from you. It basically is proprietary to the vendor, and you really can't change it, and you can't necessarily they won't even tell you what it is. For the most part, you have no control over the settings. You have no ability to change the settings. You either use it or don't use it as they give it to you. And I find them quite mysterious. They're very aggressive marketing on Instagram and TikTok, and our bots are AI driven, etc. You look in the small print, and very often the terms and conditions are from a company that doesn't match the name of the company that on the first page. Offshore or unregulated exchanges, mainly dealing in forex. And normally you have to allow the bot to run on their server. It's tied to your brokerage account, but it's running on their server. So you really, have no control over it. White box is what we specialize in, or we and our other futures competitors, where the logic is transparent. The rules are obvious or can be explained in the user manual or the getting started guide that we supply for free. Every setting can be adjusted by every single setting. Now, you may say, well, why do I want to spend time working on settings? Well, the problem is there's no one setting is good for everybody. You've all got different risk reward profiles. You've got different margin accounts, prop firms versus cash accounts. You've got different styles. You have different favorite instruments, favorite times of the day. But the nice thing about all our strategies is you can choose any instrument, any chart time frame, any time filter, any account daily goal and account max loss, any number of contracts maximum, and the way you enter those contracts all at once or scaling in or piling on or whatever. Most of these are all adjustable by you. It also means that there's a lot to test, a lot of permutations, and that's the downside. But we find it very educational for our users to try different settings and see how back testing and forward testing changes according to your different settings. And again, most of the white box apps are for futures, not for forex. and most are traded on your own, CPU, your laptop, your desktop, or if you use a virtual server, you can use it there. Now, going back to the 10 strategies that we offer, this is actually in chronological order of our introducing TrendBot 2023 and VWAP-bot a couple of weeks ago. So I didn't put it in order of style or characteristics, but you can see there are a couple of trending strategies: TrendBot, BouncerBot, SqueezeBot, ATMBot, pretty much fall in the category of a trending software, trending app. So they do better in trends. Um, and then you have the opposite, more mean reversion oriented strategies. ScalerBot a little bit, ReversalBot definitely, ReversionBot definitely, VWAP-bot definitely. ScalerBot, which we'll talk about more since I'm concentrating on that today, does best in a sideways marketplace, but can also take advantage of a trend if there's a breakout from the sideways movement, if you have a particular button that we offer called reentry on or off. But if you have it on, it actually does well in a sideways market and does well when it starts to trend one way or the other. Auction bot is an order flow strategy, rather unique to us. I don't know anyone who has that, where it identifies unfinished auctions and targets them. Breakout bot is quite common in the marketplace. Ours looks very similar to maybe others if you've ever used them. Squeeze bot is pretty rare. I'll talk about that in a minute. ATM bot, for those of you who use ATMs, is pretty obvious. So just a single screenshot of each of the strategies quickly. TrendBot is a trending bot. For those of you who don't know NinjaTrader, when a trade has successfully made a profit, it shows up as typically a green dotted line here. That's per contract, or it's red dotted line. Normally, I mean, you can change the colors, but this is out of the box. A red dotted line would be an unprofitable contract. So here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 green dotted lines. There were a couple earlier in the day. You can see in maybe upper, but basically that's kind of what a good trend bot trade will look like. And then a scalar bot, which again, I'm going to focus on this in a while, but it scales in and scales out. So right now, if you look at this is it's still like a snapshot of a live trade where you can see that we're in with 2 contracts and there's a target at the top. But if price retraces, it might pick up another contract, scale in, and lower the average cost. And then hopefully it bounces back and you make even more money. And I got to set up for a maximum of 5 contracts, which is all my charts I've standardized on just a 5 contract maximum. And you can see this one has already traded, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4. Oh, there's even more. I don't know if you can see it, but in that red bar, there's a green line up and down. That's like a profitable trade within a 3-minute candle. BouncerBot's very similar to ScalerBot, except instead of bouncing off of or taking pullback entries off of fixed ticks or fixed ATR, takes it off of the moving averages, which, as you know, can vary. But this will bounce off the 8, 21, or 34 moving average, and you can see based on the green dotted lines where it's bounced off some of these lines in the past. And it's made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 profitable trades so far. So it's like the scalar bot related to the scalar bot in that sense. Reversal bot works on a pivot concept. You can see in the middle of the chart a red arrow where the yellow candle basically signified that price was going down. And then the blue candle, and then followed by the green arrow, is where a reversal candle suggested price was going up. And then we have it tied to an ATM. So you can see the 3 green price targets and the trailing red stop losses, dynamic stop losses. The auction bot, the bright blue cyan line is a target. It's an unfinished auction. The actual targets are a little bit, in this case, a little bit before that. You can see a couple of profitable trades, one, two, three. But you can also see one negative trade there. Not every contract makes money, but this red candle is going down, so it probably did. Again, these are from our live trade room, the Futures Trading Club. All of these are snapshots. When I think it's a good example of a typical trade, I'll take a snapshot. Breakout bot, um, you can set targets according to percentage of the opening range. In this case, I've got a 30-minute set. You can set for 15 minutes or 60 minutes or whatever you like. And then you can also, manually raise stops or have a trailing stop. You can also have an ATM if you'd prefer, or you can set fixed prices, targets and stops, trailing stops. Well, three choices there. SqueezeBot is based on John Carter's concept of the squeeze, which is the interplay of Keltner channels and Bollinger Bands. We developed our own squeeze indicator. It comes with the product, which is the lower pane here. And you see when the red dot becomes a green dot, that's when the squeeze is fired, and that triggers the entry. And you can see the trend obviously continue. Normally, after a squeeze, you get a pretty consistent momentum. In this case, to the downside. Sometimes it's to the upside, but the squeeze normally indicates that. So that's a fun bot. Reversion bot is based on price bouncing off of the second standard deviation or the third standard deviation, or whichever way you want it to bounce between the two, or it's flexibility. But here's just an example of a reversion bot on RTY. Successful trades 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or so, up to $1,300. Maximum, again, 5 contracts. ATM bot, again, an ATM normally shows up as a red stop and a green target. And we just have this done on a simple moving average. When the fast moving average crosses the medium moving average, enter. It kicks off the ATM, and then the ATM has a trailing stop built into it. And you can have higher time frame and other filters. The VWAP bot is the last one that the most recent that we've introduced. It's been our most profitable in live trading recently, so we're happy with that. And it's based on bouncing off the VWAP, as opposed to the bouncer bot, which bounces off of moving averages. This one, price comes down to the VWAP or VWAP plus an offset, depending on how you set it. It will in this case, go long. Bounce came down, took another long trade, got a couple more. Again, I don't know if the trailing stop was on or whether this has to be moved manually, but you can see it. Next step would probably be to move these 2 stops manually. So that gives you a good example of the full portfolio of our 10 strategies. Anytime you want to look at these in a live environment in terms of, or a video of seeing them perform over time, during the day, normally 9:30 to 11, we've captured over 270 videos, and we now have 13,500 subscribers. Check how many subscribers your other vendors have. So turning to ScalerBOT now, we've introduced version 5.1, and that's being released tomorrow. We had 5 beta versions of the product over the last 3 months, testing it and adding a few more bells and whistles and making sure it was debugged. So it's partly because we're introducing the new version tomorrow, but the other reason why I wanted to focus on ScalerBOT was that it was our second product. So out of the 10, it's the second oldest. It has the second largest install base. It was our single best selling strategy in the year 2024, which was the first full year it came out. And more recently, because I record every trade in the Futures Trading Club every day, all 50 results, I can tell you that ScalerBOT on the ES and RTY were profitable for the first 4 months of the year. And it's also, I think, one of the more easy to understand, easy to learn, easy to trade strategies, because I just think it's very intuitive. And I'll show you some more examples and hopefully you'll agree. Breakout bot's very intuitive, and so is ATM. And but basically ScalerBOT, I like to showcase it because it's normally easy to understand. The history of the product, it's 2.5 years old, and we keep updating all our products. And we don't always release intermediate beta versions because we don't want to flood or confuse everybody by coming up with weekly releases. So we spread them out every 3 or 6 months or roughly, and try to keep adding features and keep our bots also consistent. So we add one feature we like in one bot, we'll try to add it to all the other bots. The enhancements for those who have 5.0 are the following. For people who don't have ScalerBOT, almost doesn't really matter. I'll show you more the full length of capabilities later. But if you have 5.0 starting tomorrow or later this week when we get it out, it now has the option to stop trading after so many trades that you configure. So let's say after 5 trades, I don't want to trade more than 5 trades, or I don't want to trade more than 8 trades. So you can now exit on that basis. And we're adding this capability to the other bots too. Or you can say after 3 consecutive winners, I want to get out. It's like I don't want to push my luck. Or the opposite, after two consecutive losers, I don't want to continue trading ScalerBOT today. Or maybe 4 is too many, or whatever. But you have a chance to play with these and now put in those kinds of restrictions. There's a slight variance here. They look the same, but this is slightly different. The ScalerBOT now, you can say, I don't want to re-enter more than X contracts or more than X times. Slightly different. Sometimes one will trigger in, not the other, vice versa. And then we've added another one, which is Monday through Friday. So, and our Monday includes the Sunday night, the Globex Open in New Zealand. But basically, you can say, I don't want to trade on Mondays and Fridays, and you can literally uncheck the box, and even if you walked away for a week, it'll trade Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but not trade Monday, Friday. We've added 2 more higher time frame filters, so now there are 3. I think that the default we ship it with is like a 30-minute, a 1 day, and a 1 week, but you can make it anything you want. We've added a couple of chart trader buttons, modified a couple. We have much more clear on-screen messaging for the APP and TPP. Improved error handling, which is always an issue with the prop firms and market replay versus live, and different quirks in NinjaTrader. Added a couple other small enhancements that are not visible to the user, and we fixed a few bugs. So that's what the 5.0 users are going to see different starting later this week. All our bots have these money management restrictions, which give a lot of flexibility. You can set an account daily goal, like, if you get to $1,000, stop. Because sometimes, you get to $1,000, the next thing you know, you've gone into the red. Or, depending what size your account is, stop at 2,000, stop at 1,500. I actually stopped the Futures Trading Club I have it set for 2250 because I'm trading 5 minis. But maybe that should be 3,000, maybe it should be 2,000. I'm always tweaking it from month to month, trying to figure out the best way. But that's what account daily goal is, and the corollary is the max loss, which is probably more important, which is I don't want to lose more than X per bot or per instrument or per bot instrument or per account. I'll explain the difference between account daily goal and strategy daily goal in another slide, but those are 2 important elements as well. We have at a lower level, you can say, if a trade gets to X amount, get out. If a trade loses X amount, but your bot is still active and you still will enter new trades, but you're just kind of, getting out at a lower level, even though you're still will take new entries. And account profit protection and trade profit protection are very powerful additions that we've put into the products. I'm using account profit protection more and more in the Futures Trading Club, where let's say your account daily goal is 2,000, But you could say if I get to 1500, I don't ever want to go back more than 20%. So the worst I can do is is if it's doing well is to make 1200 instead of watching it go to 1500 and then go back to zero. So you might not get to your daily goal, but you may at least salvage a good run. And account profit protection will close you for the day. A trade profit protection will just close you for that trade. But if you still haven't reached your daily goal, you may re-enter. So that's the distinction between those two. Um, so an example where strategy daily goal is different than account daily goal is you, for example, doesn't matter. Let's just look at the cash account example here. But you could have an NinjaTrader, you can have a chart that has multiple tabs. It's one account, but it has multiple tabs. And one tab could have TrendBot working on NQ, and a second tab could have ScalerBOT working on RTY. Now, your account daily goal might be 5,000, but what happens if RTY with ScalerBOT starts to lose money? Well, you put your max loss for that strategy, that tab, that chart, or sorry, that bot instrument combination, and you get out at 1,000 loss, but the other bot with the other instrument keeps trading and maybe makes up for it. So this is where you can have like multiple tabs within a chart or within the account. Um, Quit when they get to their target or quit when they get to their loss, but the rest of the bots keep working. And then account profit protection in an example like this, maybe you have like at 3,000, yes, my daily goal is 5,000, but once I get to 3,000, I don't want to lose more than, I don't want it to fall back below 2,700. So that's what that does. Um, and then the prop firm account, normally the numbers are smaller because you're dealing in 50K accounts or 100K account or something. But the principle is the same. Maybe you don't use trade goal and trade loss because you're dealing with micros or dealing with smaller numbers, but um, you have, this is why there's no one setting for everybody because different cash accounts and different size prop firm accounts will have different recommended settings. So I did show an example of a ScalerBOT screenshot when I showed you the other 10 bots, but let's just look at one more here. Remember I said that the green dotted lines represent profitable contracts. Well, let's look at this. This is a real trade from the futures trade room. Um, my CPU is on California time because I lived there for 16 years and I learned all my futures trading there. So I still have my laptops on California, but this is the 9:30 Eastern, and then I have the bot goes on. What is this? This is RTY. I have the ES scalar bot going on at 9:31. NQ goes on 9:32. RTY goes on starts at 9:33. So you have these time filters you can have automatically starting at staggered numbers. I just do it that way because it's kind of fun to watch and trying not to necessarily trade it exactly at 9:30 when the first minute or two might be quite wild. But in any case, if you look at these green dots again, here's a profitable contract. Here's a profitable contract. Here's three. There's four. There's five. There's six. This vertical one is seven. That's eight. That's nine. That vertical one's 10. That's 11. That's 12. That's 13. There are 14 consecutive trades, not a single loss here. Yeah, this may be a good example of a perfect trade, but this happens a lot. And if you trade, log into watch the Futures Trading Club, it's a silent trade room, but the bots are doing all the talking. Um, um, And we have in the lower left-hand corner the cumulative P&L gross and net of commission for the day. And it's at 1615 right now. And I've got my account high watermark at 1750. So when it just gets up to 1750 net of commission, then the 10% drawdown kicks in. So the worst it can do, other than slippage, the worst it can do would be 1750 minus 175, which is forget 1625 or something. Anyway, this example of what a scalar bot can do, and even though I said it's based on it's designed for a sideways market, this market's been trending. You can see the 8 EMA has been rising. All the trades have stayed above the EMA, which means it's a strong trend. The green background means the MAs are all in alignment. Oops, sorry. Um, and yet it's still making money. And that's because this button down here, RE on, it's called re-entry on. And if you have that on, I keep it on. It means if you make your first target, you basically re-enter again. If you make your contract, you enter again. If you make your first contract, your first target, you enter again. So it will keep entering. And we've now started keeping track of that. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, it says trades 8-0. So we've had 8 consecutive winners here, not just on the contract, but that's based on how many first targets were hit before the reentry re-entered. Now we have changed. This was like beta 3, and we've changed this now. So instead of 8, it's just slightly different in terms of the way it's laid out, but it still will count the number of consecutive wins, for example. Okay, so let's go through and do more of a deep dive here. When I sent out an email invitation to this webinar, I included these links. I didn't label which instruments they were, but when you get your presentation sent by TimingResearch, this will be in the presentation. You can click on these, but let's see if I can do one here. They're all based on our YouTube channel. So if you want to actually watch these working, or to see how they were recorded in a live environment. So I have sped these up sometimes so that you don't have to spend 20 minutes watching a 20-minute trade. You can, but right now I'll just explain this one. The background is red because you have the choice of turning the background color on or off, and it's based on the moving averages. Okay, so this was at 9:31. No, what is this? Yeah, ES 9:31. It took a bearish trade because the background was red, because the 8 EMA was below the 21 EMA. Generally, that's a good rule of thumb. It doesn't always work. There's already been two profitable trades. You see the horizontal green dotted lines. Those are profitable trades within the first 3-minute bar. And the target is down here at the bottom there. Now there's a second target because it just scaled in with a second entry. And if it retraces, it'll scale in a third, fourth, and fifth. But if it continues to fluctuate and continues to go, let's say now we've just banked another contract. If you look in the lower left-hand corner, you're up to $900 gross, 800 net, and it's continuing, etc. So these videos are there. All our bots have video examples, but that was just an example of off of the slide presentation. And now, of course, I got to get back to it. Okay, here. So just, that was a bearish trade. Here's an example of a bullish trade. That's NQ. And then again, this is right off our YouTube website. So although it's green and it's taking a bullish trade, the candle's red, but that just means there's some pullback and re-entry against the longer term trend. And that normally works in your favor because you're buying at a lower, it's costing you less. You're lowering your average cost per contract. And then again, you can see the buy lines are in the retracement area and the sell are in the trend continuation area. So, it's a pretty simple concept. And ultimately you have a stop down here and the stop, if it's 2 contracts, the stop will become 2. If it's 3, it'll be 3. It's a dynamic stop. Or you may get stopped out by your max loss. I'll talk about different stop strategies. Right. So I'm not going to go through the others, but that gives you an example if you want to look at them yourself. And now I have got to get out of. I always have trouble getting out of YouTube. Okay, let's get back. Okay, so we're back to where we should be. So there's some more examples if you want. For those of you who don't know NinjaTrader, this may look complicated, but this is a great cheat sheet here. It's really easy to install a strategy. You go to
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the TradeStation Trading App Store Showcase.
Oh, sorry,
My
that's
name is
YouTube. I'm
Gustavo.
sorry.
I'm the
I got to get
Director
rid
of
of that.
Client Training and Education here at TradeStation.
Let me see if I can
Pleasure
get
to
rid of
host this
YouTube
event.
here. I apologize.
Bob Carter, a
Sorry.
longtime friend of TradeStation. He's a
Okay, I apologize. I'll get back to where I should be here a second. Let me. Okay, let me blow this up here. All right, apologize for that. Good thing I caught it. Basically, it's easy. All automated strategies install the same way for NinjaTrader tools import. Then creating a chart's really easy. New chart. Choosing your instrument. You have a drop down ES, NQ, RTY, etc. Um, Normally, there's a default expiration date like June 26th, but sometimes you can change that if you want as well. And then you choose your chart time frame, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 1 minute, whatever you like. You can also do, Unirenko and range charts and tick charts, etc. Then to configure a strategy, you go to the strategies option, and then you choose your strategy. If you have one bot from us, only ScalerBOT will show up. If you've got all 10 of our bots, you'll have a pick list of 10 bots, and then you add the one that you want. You then need to choose your account. Is it your Apex account? Is your Tradeify account? Is your Buellnox account? Is it your Live account? Is it your Sim account? You choose which one you want the bot to trade. And then it gets trickier. Now you got to set your properties, and I'm going to spend a few pages talking about properties. But once you've set that up, you save your properties as a template so you can come back to them later. You can have multiple templates so you can have different permutations and test them out, live or sim. And then basically you connect to your live data, either your own like brokerage account or your Rhythmic with Apex or whatever, um, CQ, whatever. And then to activate any strategy in NinjaTrader, you go to the strategies tab and you check the enable box, and that basically you get and your bot's active at that point. It's um, right. So in terms of properties, which I said is a more complex subject, there's so many properties you can choose in a NinjaTrader strategy that we're not the only one who has this issue, which is how many options do we give you? On the plus side, I'd argue we give you as many options. We give you probably more options than any other vendor. I mean, for example, we have up to 6 time filters. I know some vendors have 1 time filter, some have 2. A few have 4. I'm not sure anyone's got 6. Whether you need 6 is another story, but we don't want you to say, well, I'd like to do 5, and you never made the option. Anyway, so that's there. You can choose Eastern time zone or your local CPU time zone, and there are benefits. I like to use Eastern because sometimes I'm in California, sometimes I'm in Florida, sometimes I'm in London, and I don't have to worry about changing my times according to where I am. I basically, or changing according to what computer I'm on, I just use the Eastern. Direction is pretty self-explanatory. Normally I have it on both because I don't know whether the market's going up or down in the time filter I'm using, but you can also choose long only or short only if you have a strong view that it's going to be a bullish market this week or it's going to be a bearish day tomorrow based on yesterday's results or something. NinjaTrader has this concept of start behavior. It's a little bit esoteric, but basically we offer 2 options. Immediately submit pretty much looks at the entry trigger criteria and immediately will enter based on whether the criteria are filled or valid, and wait until flat. Normally waits till kind of a reversal or anyway. You'll understand it more if you've never used NinjaTrader as soon as you start using it. Then you set your maximum number of contracts that you want to trade. Some of the bots have choices for how you enter, some do not, but basically it's bot specific. And then the trigger can also be, you can enter manually, you can get out manually, but you can also let the bot trigger both the entry and the exit, which is what most of our users do. And then you've also got profit targets, stop loss, trailing stop, break even have to be set, or you decide not to set them. You choose whether to use filters to minimize the chance that you're trading counter trading or trading against another phenomenon that's going on. And then we have other bot specific options and settings and various display options. You can turn these on or off, etc. And plus all the money management restrictions I told you about earlier. As an example for ScalerBOT, we have this thing called the equidistant category. I'll show it to you quickly on the screen later, but it allows you to set most of your targets and stops just using the first number here, 1. It's how many contracts will be in your first target. 20, how many ticks will be your first target. Then this third one is how many contracts will be in subsequent scale-in levels. Then the next number is how many total levels do you want to enter it? And then the next 20 is how many ticks should each um, um, and each new level be, then 20, which should be the target, and 40, which should be the initial stop loss. Anyway, it looks more complicated perhaps than it is there, but believe me, almost all the settings are all based on that issue there. And we give recommendations when we deliver the product. We have like a 15 to 20 page user manual. We have a 2 to 3 page getting started guide, and we have a 2-page installation guide. We have, and then I'm available on email to give people additional help. And then dynamic stops, you can choose to use these or not. Trade goal, trade loss, you can, all these are optional. And now we have the new one about exit after end trades. So there are many ways to get out. You can get out by a daily max loss, get out by profit, get out by X number of trades, get out because of stop loss or trailing stop loss. This right now is the example of what I'm using for all the bots when I use 5 minis. I'm putting a daily goal of 2250, count max loss of 750. That's a 3-to-1 ratio. Some people might feel more comfortable with a 2-to-1. So you could have 1500 versus 750, or you could have 2250 versus 1125, and then you can play with these and see how they work. And account profit protection, that's the one I've found to be really useful this year. The trade profit protection, I'm still working on that. That's not really relevant for ScalerBOT. So I'm not going to go through all these, but this is what a properties page looks like in NinjaTrader. This is where you change your settings. This is the first page of 11 pages. We ship the product with everything already filled in, but it doesn't mean everything filled in is what is going to be what we recommend you trade. But it made 90% of these different numbers and colors and settings don't have to be changed. We've already got them for you. And when I talked about the equidistant, I'll show you right now, like this page here looks complex. Don't touch it. This page looks complex. Don't touch it unless you're going to really get to the engineering level and you're going to be working with minutia. But we have at the top right here, the top half, this is that equidistant. There's that 120, 15, 20, 20, 40. As long as you have those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines, you don't have to do these next 2 pages. It's just a way of making it easier for you. And then you've got your, account profit protection, your trade goal, your account daily goal settings. Then you have your time filters, 6 time filters, including 2 of them that go down to the second, not just to the minute. Then you've got whether you show VWAP or not, whether you have a squeeze filter on or not, whether you have a VWAP filter on or not, higher time frame filter here. Remember I said we've added 3 now. So you have a 60-minute time filter, a 1-day time filter, or 1 week, whatever you want to basically narrow down the settings, the environment that you want to be trading in, etc. So that gives you an idea of how you set your settings. Let's see, I'm running, no, 15 minutes, 14, 13 minutes maybe. In terms of back testing for settings, you can do this. We do it a lot through our bot optimization lab, and we try to communicate as much of our new findings to our users. Um, but people who know NinjaTrader know there's two ways to do back testing. One is the strategy analyzer, and one is playback with market replay data. We do not recommend strategy analyzer because it only deals with 1 minute price bars. And as anyone has ever traded scalping strategies or manual scalps, et cetera, 1 minute, a lot can happen in 1 minute, especially with, let's say, NASDAQ, MNQ, and NQ. The strategy analyzer does allow optimization, but we have found the optimizer doesn't give you good results because of the 1 minute price bar issue. So we concentrate using playback with market replay data, which is based on tick by tick price data within each minute candle, for example. It doesn't allow automatic optimization. You have to triangulate with your optimization. So it's a bit rather tedious and painful. But that's what we use, and I'll show you some of those results. Clearly, the ultimate test is forward testing, and that's why we're trading all 50 bots every day. Sorry, all 50 charts, 10 bots times 5. So we have literally a mathematical a data set of everything that we've traded. Um, and then obviously the ultimate is your own cash account or prop firm account. Um, this is the process for using playback with market replay. I won't go through it all, but it's very tedious. But might be helpful for those of you who want to learn how to use market replay data in a backtesting environment. But there is a lot of triangulation and triage and iterations, by manual iterations. It makes it rather difficult, and we have lost a lot of blood, sweat, and tears working on this to make our users more successful. These are the main backtesting metrics we look at: the net profit, absolute profit factor, the drawdown as a percentage of the net profit, the average trade value, gross and net, number of trades, what percentage were profitable, and what's the win-loss ratio, what's the expectancy. Um, Again, if you've never used NinjaTrader, these would be somewhat new to you, but I've got 4 examples where we backtested ScalerBOT using different settings, and I can email people the settings if they want, but basically I'm just calling this A, B, C, D settings. But this would be, for example, a quick chart to see. This was the month of April, so the month literally just ended. How did ScalerBot work with the ES? It had one, two, I'm looking at the green bars here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 profitable days and 7 unprofitable. Um, and the cumulative of this number, you just change net profit to cumulative net profit, and you get the equity curve. It's not the best equity curve I've ever seen, but it is profitable. It has gone up, hasn't gone down too far. You have to say, okay, that setting's not bad to start with. Maybe let's tweak it. And that's how you work through this. You get your actual stats here, profit factor 1.4, which is pretty good. This drawdown 6 compared to 13, that's not, the graph doesn't look as bad. The numbers don't look great, but 53% profitable, um, and 244 trades. That feels about right in 1 month. Yeah, you go through these things and get a feeling for what you like and don't like. Here's example B. This was also ES with a different set of settings, where I did not have a max loss, account max loss. Again, more green than red, but also you might say, well, let's put in a max loss amount because this is these losses here are too great. And by the way, if you're using micros, just divide everything by 10 or use a different number of minis or different number of micros. And that was the equity curve based on that daily chart. And here are the numbers behind it: profit factor 135. Example C. Here I did put in, I think, max loss, account loss or whatever, of 750. This is RTY, not ES. And you can see any day it hit 750, it cut off. Why are the numbers not exactly 750? Well, because of slippage. But I had no daily goal on this account. So you can see the the days were very profitable, which helped, you know, sorry, this was a C, right? Let me go back up to, yeah, so C. So that I gave this kind of an equity curve, and here are the stats. Um, and then this example D, again, this was one, I didn't put these in order, but this is one where I didn't have a max loss. And this was back to ES again. But in the green, and ES and RTY did the best in January through April and including April. So I got to move on here. Just because I've concentrated on ScalerBOT doesn't mean that's the only product that I'm recommending. I would argue that you should possibly consider 2 or 3 of our strategies, and I'm going to give you an incentive here with a big discount coming up to actually think about buying or leasing more than one of our bots. Because once you learn one, you can easy to use the others. They all have the same time filters. They all have money management. They all have the same kinds of choices for targets and stops, the same on-screen messaging, the same choices for these things. So it's really easy once you're a user of a TradePilot AI product to be able to use another one quickly and not even bother to look at the manual. The way that we price the products and the way that we onboard, we offer lifetime license for $24.95, but we offer multiple ways of leasing the product. And the longer you choose to lease, the better price you get per month. As you work through that, all those prices are on their website as well. The onboarding process is semi-manual, semi-automatic. You purchase on the website using credit card or debit card, sign up as a member, receive the software by email with the documentation. And once you submit your machine ID in the members area of our website, then you can use the product. And we have multiple bot volume discounts available as well. But in terms of giving you more incentive, let me offer these bonus packages here. So anyone who sees this presentation, I guess, who wasn't live watching, you can get a 50% discount on ScalerBOT or any of our bots by using that promo code at checkout, which brings the price down to $12.48. And I'm offering 1 hour free consultancy, which is normally $100. And for anybody who sees this, says to me, I want to get my 1 hour free, you've got it. We just have to set it up on Zoom. And then for the webinar attendees who are watching live right now, if you use this other promo code TR2026, we give you a 60% discount, so it gets you under 1,000. You're at $998, again, with 1 hour free consultancy. And basically, you just need to email me or use those promo codes. Sorry. This next one requires an email to me. This is the most aggressive we've ever been in terms of offering something. This top one here. You can buy ScalerBOT and 4 more of our strategies. Any 4 that you want, you get free. So basically, it's a 5-for-1 offer, and we're allowing you to swap them. You could have 5 of our strategies and then get bored with one of them, or find one doesn't suit your style or whatever, and you say, I'd like to try another one, and we basically will turn off the lights on one and give you the lights on the other. And I'm giving 1 free hour of consultancy. But there's no landing page for this. You have to email me and just say amazing TR webinar purchase offer. And we have a couple of smaller ones here. These are for leases rather than lifetime licenses, where you can get a 3-for-1, either 3 bots for 1 month price, or you can get 1 bot for 3 months for paying 1 month. And any new user who's never bought a product from us before gets a 50% discount by using that promo code. So again, this is all going to be in the presentation that is going to be available through TimingResearch. So repeat of where our website is, where our pricing is, where our YouTube channel is, my email, the Zoom link. Again, this is all in the presentation. So I have like a minute or two to answer any questions. I have not looked at the chat. I'm not good at multitasking, so maybe David should have to read some questions if there are any. I'll try to
Oh,
find. Do you see chat? Because I have a little trouble figuring out how to get to chat.
yeah.
Somebody raised a hand, so I guess
All
I can view. But
right. Someone asks, um, so we can use our prop data feed like Rhythmic.
yes, definitely. As long as your prop firm allows you to use automated strategies. I've done a lot of research on this and even have a white paper on it, but some do, some don't. Some say you can use automated strategy if you've gotten approval ahead of time. There are some who say they don't allow it, but they don't enforce it. Um, but technically, there's no problem with using a trade copier or a prop firm. Our bots will work on any data feed.
Can we use micros?
Yeah, absolutely. You can use micros, minis. You can do ZN, ZB. You can do soybeans, wheat, lumber. Well, whatever your NinjaTrader account supports in terms of your brokerage account.
Are the optimization settings shared with us as users, or do we have to subscribe to a different service
No,
for optimization?
we don't charge for that. We thought about that, but we don't charge for settings. But they aren't necessarily optimized in the way that we can say, here is the single silver bullet optimization for everybody. It's going to be more, this is what our bot optimization found from the last 3 months, from the last month. These were the settings that we found worked best in hindsight for, using 5 minis. If you want to use 5 micros or 20 micros, then you have to adjust accordingly.
Okay, great. And I think I got to cut you off there. So,
Yeah, thank you, David.